is youth violence and economic well-being, and we're talking to Mr. LGreenlee and Mr. Willie Sims. And of course, Mr. Sims, let's see if we can, again, big fellow, I think it was also announced, but let's see if we can then look at some of your situations, your background, and et cetera, and some of the your views in terms of this idea of youth being involved in well-being.
Well, Doc, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Been down here since about 1999, came to go to school. And really, man, I playing on what Lonnie was saying, they don't really give us a chance to be involved in any conversation. I'm 29 now, so as I'm getting older, I feel like people let me kind of more in. They feel like I'm old enough to be in the room, but when I was 21, I had a very valid opinion based on where we was at that time, being 21, and you dealing with the problems of 21-year-olds and even younger, but you don't ever, like you say, you don't want to talk to the kids. You want to go figure it out for them, and they not hearing anything you saying because it's not making sense. And you're not providing, you say there's no answers. It's all problems, no solution. You're not providing them any money, and it's like if you're not giving them any money, any guidance, or spending time with them, how you gonna tell them something? They're not gonna listen to you. I'm not listening to you if you're not if you just come in and take away and try to look good and sound good, but when I gotta go back down the street after school, I don't have nothing else to do. I don't see you. You're not there with me. You're not telling me anything. You're not helping me better what I'm trying to do. You're not even trying to figure out what I'm trying to do. And I think it's that generation gap that really plays hard into it, along with the economics. The economics is gonna lead to violence, crime. 85% of crime is because ain't no money. It's all in attempts to go get money. Unless you got your random crazy person. You know, I'm gonna go kill somebody just because I'm kind of crazy. But other than that, it's attempts to get something. And it's worse because they can see it. We see it all the time. We got MTV, we got all this. We see these big houses, and we want what they got on cribs. But the reality is 90% of people will never have it. So, but we still want it. So what you do when you're 14 and you in a place where you want something that you see and you don't know how to get it, you're going to go with the fastest way that seems like you can get it, or at least potential to get it, even though it's all just a big dream in the sky. It don't matter anyway, but you don't know that as a kid. And I blame a lot of older generation. I think it's the problem of a lot of these entertainers. We show them something and then don't show them how to get it other than this dream, you know? It's other jobs outside besides rapping. But nobody tells us that. I learned a lot of stuff. I went to school, and just for the experience, I seen things. I'm like, oh, you could do that? There's somebody actually working behind these cameras who getting a check, not just us sitting right here, you know? It's actually somebody doing something else that got something to do with something else that's getting money, and we don't know that. We don't even know the options. If you ain't got no options, you're just gonna go with what you see.
You know, that's sort of a sad situation in terms of, LGreenlee, in terms of the education system in America. I mean, how in the world do you get out of school without understanding some of these things? Is that a real problem?
Well, let's tell the truth. You don't teach kids going up in school how to write a check. You know, you tell them about getting a job, but you don't tell them about ownership. You tell them about how much it's important to get education, but you don't provide them with the proper stuff for the education. So, and these things are only because there are certain people that's taking certain monies and put it in certain areas and not in other areas. That's how it is. This is not a big old scientific thing. This is a moral thing. This is a thing where people can start respecting, you know, other folk. If you do that, then really we change the whole United States. We make the United States powerful when everybody has the opportunity to be great. You know, that's one thing to pretend to offer, but it's another thing to actually see the product work. And that's where we're at. You know, we are not often to know this grandiose thing, black, white, Puerto Rican, Chinese, African. No. We are in the United States. And the United States is a melting pot. But it just so happened that pot only lays in certain hands. And I don't care if you're white or black, it's greed. You know, when it's greed, it's greed. You know, why would I want to have $20 billion and then right around the corner, I have devastation, like third world countries? You know, until we get to that point, there's a lot of this stuff we're just going to be throwing in the wind, and then, you know, they say, well, it didn't work, we give enough money, but I've seen programs where they gave you money to fix the problem. Once you fix the problem, now you're not qualified for the money anymore.
Yeah, I understand. So explain that.
Huh?
Explain that, that you get a grant to do something with, and then once you able to achieve what the grant is all about, then they won't give you any more money to deal with the grant.
Okay, listen. As long as you're showing some research and things, but you haven't done anything, then you're still qualified. But once you actually do what you're supposed to do, then you are not qualified for it in that area, because that area now doesn't need that particular funding. So you are capped out. This happens all over the United States. But what I have to say to you and to the audience is, when are we going to match that money? See, if the man gives me $150,000 to do something with, what's happening with my other part of it when that runs out to keep me moving? So we keep crying and begging somebody else for their money. But when it's time, we won't even put our own money in it to fix our own problem. So that's what I want to talk about in this next segment. You know, these things that we must do as a whole, by our own individual self. And that's what it is.
Well, let's. I think we've got time in this segment to start that off. I mean, because I think that's intriguing. You say you've got some things that we must do. What are some of the things that we would?
First of all, you have to quit knocking on somebody else's door in his house trying to change his rules. That's automatic. When are we going to build a house that states the rules that we want to set? We know that we have a United States, but we also have Africans, Asians, Mexicans, Jewish people, German people, white people, okay? And each one of those people have their own systems and their own standards. So what I'm saying to me is, being a black man, African American, whatever you want to call me, when do I build me a system where folks can come in and assist me instead of me always asking for a handout and always begging? I'm demanding that a man let me in his house to change his rules? What man gonna come to my house and change my rules in my house? That's no way in the world. I can try all I want to be equal with you. But when you come in my house, man, there's no way in the world you finna be just like me. There's just no way it's gonna ever happen. So that's where we at. We're at that point. We're at that point is, let's quit begging. Let's do something where people have to assist us in.
Very good. And of course, we're getting ready for our second commercial break, but that second break, but that idea of self-help is something that we want to follow up at the end of this segment and begin the next segment. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. You introduced